Amelia, Dimoldenberg, this is incredible to have you here.
So good to see you, Kevin.
We're going to get into our history and kind of how we know each other, but welcome to my On Film with Kevin McCarthy podcast.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
And it's a perfect podcast for you to be on because of your work now you're doing with the Academy, which is incredible. Third year in a row to be the ambassador. You're going to be on the red carpet as well. The red carpet interviews that Amelia does for the Oscars are brilliant. I can't wait for everybody to see these.
I love
First of all, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here in LA in the sunshine. My God, it just makes you feel good.
I know.
It's that serotonin. Something about it, the sun just puts everyone in a good mood.
I know. And you and I actually met in person in London, I think in 2024. So I guess we found each other on social media, right?
Because I was a fan of yours.
I was a fan of yours.
And so I don't know who reached out first, but we reached out to each other, and then you were in London and we met. And actually the sun was shining that day.
It was.
We had a little coffee outside in the sun. And yeah, I really admire your work. I think you're such a fantastic interviewer and you're so well researched and just fantastic, and I love watching your videos. So I definitely wanted to meet you in person and share like stories that we have of our process and everything. I always find it really helpful to be able to like connect with other people that do something similar, because you know in our work it's very kind of a solo enterprise.
Yeah.
And you don't really have colleagues in the same way. So it's nice to be able to speak to other people about what it is that they do and shared interests and stuff.
Yeah, and I kind of hope today, kind of for the audience listening, this can be a little bit educational in terms of process and interviewing.
Yeah.
I bet you we have similarities, and I bet you we have differences in the way we prep. Going into the Oscars, obviously, we're recording this at the end of February. The Oscars are March 15th. Have you already started your red carpet prep at this point? I mean, obviously watching the films is part of that, but,
yes.
But I guess give the audience a real brief idea of like what the ambassador aspect is.
So yeah, I mean, as the like social media ambassador and red carpet correspondent, I am there like, I guess, mainly, well, my main role is to be interviewing the nominees for the Oscars. And my first port of call is the nominees luncheon. So every year the Academy has a luncheon. I actually feel like I never heard that word until the Academy
still
used
don't
it.
know
Like,
that word.
what is the difference between a lunch and a luncheon? I feel like a luncheon is just like a posh lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know.
And it takes place late morning, early afternoon.
Exactly.
Is it brunch time?
It's brunch time. It's basically a posh brunch.
Brunchin'.
But it's a luncheon, and it's where all of the nominees get to come and celebrate. It's actually really great because it's this interim period where like no one's a loser yet, you know? so everyone's like in a good mood because they're so excited to be nominated for their Oscar. A lot of them, it's their first time being nominated for an Oscar. Yeah. And they do this I've never actually been to the luncheon itself. They don't allow me yet. I feel like one day I'll worm my way in, but they do a big photograph where everyone gets their name called one by one. Everyone claps and they go up on stage and they do this big group like class photo, I guess. And I'm there interviewing people before and after the luncheon. So yeah, I start my prep in January.
Wow. I mean, honestly, what they could do if they were smart is they would put the luncheon next time at a chicken shop.
Yeah.
And then you just interview them all throughout.
They should do that. We do bring the chicken nuggets and chips to the luncheon.
This is brilliant.
We bring the air fryer, yeah. But yeah, I'm doing my prep in January, and I have my sister and then another writer called Albie Swigler, who we all work together doing the research and writing up questions. But yeah, I prepare for all of the I would say all the nominees. I would say all of the acting nominees, directors as well. Now and again, a few other nominees if the Academy asks that. But yeah.
For example, like Timothée Chalamet, he's going to be someone who'll stop on the carpet.
I hope so.
Right. So
my God, fingers crossed.
So do you already have ideas of how that interview would start if he came up to you at the carpet?
Yeah. Well, right now, no. I feel like that's what I need to get into over the next 2 weeks. But what happened last year was he walked past me and I thought, okay, I've lost him. Like, that's it. He's, everyone walks one way down the carpet and you have to grab them in that moment. Otherwise, they've gone, and you can't find them again. So he walked past and I thought, it's so annoying because I prepped my questions and I was super excited to get an interview with Timothée Chalamet. Never had an interview with him before. And then I think someone in my ear says, okay, another actor's coming up. So I get ready for my questions for this actor, and then all of a sudden it's Timothée Chalamet, and he's just like run into the to the frame, and so I just have to be like, okay, right, it's happening. And I get what do I get, like 2 minutes with someone, and you have to be able to figure out, okay, which questions are the most important ones to ask right now, what kind of mood do I think they're in, what will the audience like, all of those things. You have to think. There's so many thoughts going through your head when you're on a red carpet, and that's also kind of what I love about it. But yeah, with Timothy, I think from watching his other interviews, I don't know what you think, but he can be many different. I think he has many different sides to him.
I just did a Q&A with him the other night at the Academy for the SAG voters.
Oh, you did?
It was like two
Cool.
nights ago, and he was remarkable. And I know what you mean, because like in some Q&As he can be different, but I think it's all based on vibe. Like we went into a heavy craft conversation at that Q&A, but then obviously he's doing something with LeBron James in a couple of days as well. So or Ben Affleck moderated one, or he did one with Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, he's very malleable to his situation, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen him in interviews and he's taking himself very seriously. And yeah, some interviews he's like really talking about the craft. Some interviews he's being really playful. So I guess it just depends I don't know. I feel like he also is reading the room and reading the vibe himself.
I agree.
So he's sort of bending to whatever he thinks is going to be the most appropriate for the situation. But when I interviewed him on the carpet last year, I think that he was taking the moment seriously, as he should. Like, he was at the Oscars. I think it was his first.
Oh, he had been nominated for Call Me By Your Name.
Oh, Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah.
Second nomination, and he, I think he was, I don't know if he was nervous necessarily, but I think it was a big day. So I could sense that.
Before we dive into all this, because I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, I want to tell your story, because you have an amazing story. But every time I start off my show, I ask the same question to every guest that sits in that chair. And movies are everything to me. They are where I felt safe growing up. I loved being in theaters with strangers and just enjoying cinema. And the reason I love what you do is because when I see you talking to artists that I've loved watching, or artists that I've been listening to music-wise or movie-wise, you bring out something in them that I hadn't seen before. And your story, though, growing up, I was curious what movie and or concerts were pivotal for you in understanding the communal aspect of a live event like a concert or a movie. And I mentioned concerts because you also interview a lot of musicians. You started off interviewing rappers, particularly on Chicken Shop Date. So I want to throw that question in a two-way form of like, what was the movie that made you realize the importance of the communal experience, and what was a concert that did that for you?
Well, great question, obviously. Great questions. Spice World is a very important movie to me.
The bus jump always gets me.
The bus jump is fantastic, because I was thinking, like, do you think they just had, like, they didn't have the budget, and then they were like, well, we got to just do it as a toy, but it actually just makes so much sense.
The best.
But yeah, I think Spice World is someone, again, it kind of links to your question on music, because I grew up loving the Spice Girls, and then to be able to watch a movie, you know, in the cinema and be able to see that, see the kind of pop stars that you love, but then in this cinematic universe, it just sort of, my mind exploded, because I'm so used to listening to them, seeing them on TV, you know, on Top of the Pops or whatever it is, and then seeing them in a movie playing the characters that you think that they are, was just unbelievable to me. And so for me, that was a really important movie, and I just love the way that it kind of bridge the gap in between fantasy and reality, because you obviously think that the Spice Girls are like that they're in their personas the whole time, but we obviously know they're not, you know. And to me, the Spice World was the idea of, what do you imagine the Spice Girls do in their time off, or when the cameras aren't rolling? They're living on this bus that's a giant bus, you know. They're doing these amazing meet and greets with fans. They hate their manager, they love their manager. They're running around, they're looking gorgeous. And yeah, it really fulfilled that fantasy for me. And yeah, I would love to make my own version of Spice World one day.
It's an amazing. I mean, I need to rewatch. I still have my ticket for Spice World. I remember.
You do?
I mean, no joke. But what's fascinating about what you just said about the persona versus the people who they actually are in their real life, and who the persona is. Is there a little bit of that idea in the chicken shop date idea where like you're playing kind of yourself, but there's an acting aspect to it as well, where there's a persona or a quote unquote character? Because like that blend of persona and who you are as a person, because like it's an interesting thing. It's like you're in this like area where it's like it's a blend, and I find that fascinating.
Yeah, I definitely feel like when I first started the show, I was leaning on the awkwardness and the deadpan humor as a way to, because I just thought it would be funnier. I feel like now that I look back in hindsight, maybe I was nervous that me as myself wouldn't be interesting enough or funny enough, maybe, and pushing the awkwardness and those kinds of deadpan humor, I felt a bit more comfortable in that sense because it wasn't fully me. And then I think as time has gone on with the show, I've been doing the show for over 10 years now, I'm a bit more comfortable in letting a bit more of my own personality and being a bit more friendly.
When did that happen? When did you feel that transition happen where you started letting yourself be there more?
Maybe like around 5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I think. But I noticed that in episodes like the first episodes, I don't really talk that much. It's more like facial expressions, and I kind of let the guest do the heavy lifting. And then as time has gone on, I've been more confident, and I feel like I take charge more, and I'm just talking a lot more. But yeah, the persona is real. Like it definitely is a persona, and there's definitely traits of the character that like I lean into. The person that I play on Chicken Shop Day is someone that is, I would say, like kind of afraid of intimacy, and that's why it's funny because she's on a date, and so it's almost like, okay, so you're flirting, and then the flirting becomes a bit much, and then I'm like, okay, can you stop flirting with me, or I say in one breath, I'm not interested, and then I'll be like, when are we getting married, and that's why it's just really confusing, but that's the comedy of it, right? And I would say that's not who I really am. And then, part of it as well, which is me from when I was younger, is being really sarcastic as a defense mechanism against, boys that are mean to you. And it works. It definitely works. And so, I kind of
Did you get bullied
into that. I wouldn't say, I was kind of a bit bullied at school.
Same.
By this one girl, actually. But then I would say I wasn't bullied by boys when I was growing up, but they were just they were mean. So I wouldn't call it bullying, but I would say it was like teasing and point things out about your appearance or things like that, or would just be, I think the boys that I hung out with around school, they really dominated. Like, so they dominated what we did and sort of where we went and what we listened to. And I feel like that's probably, for the most part, what happens when you're a teenager. Yeah. And like, I do think boys just annoyingly like run things if you're in a mixed group.
But I used to get made fun of for talking too much and asking too many questions.
And now you made it your job.
And it's the job. And but those, like, I think Cynthia Erivo speaks about this in her book. It's like those superpowers that we were kind of made fun of for when we were kids that become what we are now.
Totally. And I feel I was always someone who people, my peers, like my friends, said to me, "Oh, you're so awkward," or "You're so sarcastic."
Same.
And so then I lean into it and make it your thing. And I think that's kind of like what has worked well for me, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and cinema and music, I think, were the places that I would find comfort. It sounds like music and movies were a big thing for you as well. Were those escape for you? Like,
and in terms of like, you're back to your question about like concerts that were like important to me. I was a massive S Club 7 fan. I don't know if you know this band.
I know the name.
Okay.
My wife is British, so she probably knows. Are they British?
They're a British band.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like a mixed group band, but I was obsessed with them. I also love Britney Spears. I don't think I ever got to see Britney in concert though. And I was really into McFly as well, which is another
I know the name.
Band, an English band. But yeah, I loved Christina Aguilera. I loved Pink, 50 Cent. I loved. They was like, and the Spice Girls I mentioned already. But
did you see them live?
the Spice Girls.
Multiple times?
No, I never got to see the Spice Girls live.
You never saw Spice Girls
I never got to see
live?
the Spice Girls live. Wait, I have seen the Spice Girls live on their reunion tour, but I never saw them when they were like back in the day when they were.
But you saw the
like,
OG
in the
lineup.
90s. Yeah, I saw the OG lineup where like everyone had their moment. It was so funny because everyone had their moment to do their solo songs. And Victoria has solo songs, but she didn't do her solo songs. She just did a catwalk. Which I thought was really funny.
It's actually
She
kind of
just starts
cool.
like strutting. Yeah. I mean, that's very her.
The pop stars you're interviewing today are like Sabrina Carpenter, for example. You did an amazing interview on Seth Meyers recently, and it was a few months ago. I think I don't know how long
I
ago
love
that
Seth.
was.
He's amazing.
It was amazing, but they showed this great clip at the beginning, and this kind of speaks to what you're talking about in the confidence that you found in the show, where like Sabrina's like, "Can I ask you questions?" You're like, "No, don't look at me, don't talk to me." It's such a funny thing, but I would imagine that's what you're referring to, is finding that confidence to be funny like that. In front, is that's a later season,
it's funny
right?
because you're saying it's funny because I kind of read it in a different way. I'm like, I think that works for the comedy element, but actually what's happening there is like I don't want people to be asking me questions.
Oh,
Like as in I don't want to be revealing things about
you're being
myself.
serious.
Yeah. Like I don't want people to be
wow.
like revealing things about me. Like I don't want it to be about me. And so I don't want it to get too personal about me on that show. So that's why I would be like, don't ask me questions. And then I guess it comes off as funny. And I know it is funny too. I am doing it on purpose because I know it's funny.
Right, you're
to
being
shut
like
something
jokingly
down.
rude.
I'm
Yeah.
jokingly rude, but it actually comes from a place of truth.
That's actually really interesting. I did not peel that apart.
Yeah.
That's like Inception. There's like
But it's just,
layers to what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm just like, let's not talk about me.
Talk about, I mean, so music, I want to focus on music for a second because music is obviously where you got your start in terms of interviewing. Music is all about rhythm. There's a repetitive nature to music, but there's also something that we remember in music. It sticks in our head. We hear echoes of songs constantly, just like movies. Do you think that there's any idea to the idea of rhythm and comedy that you can look at in rhythm and music and kind of how music has shaped maybe the way you do comedy?
100%. I think rhythm in comedy is so important, and especially when comic timing. You know, comic timing is literally the rhythm of the conversation, and knowing when to pause or knowing when to butt in or interject, knowing how much silence is like fantastically awkward and then like too awkward, you know. So yeah, I think rhythm has always been a big part of my process, and especially like when I'm in the interview, I'm thinking about that. But more, I think in the edit. Like when I'm in the edit, I'm playing it back and I'm watching it again and again because I'm trying to find the right rhythm of the conversation, and that's one of my favorite parts of the whole process is the edit.
Will you ever have a situation where you go, I don't know if we got it, and then you got it in the edit?
Yeah, I will. I'll like leave the interview sometimes and think, oh, I don't know if that was good. But I'm very much the kind of person that I leave everything being like, it wasn't good enough. I didn't do it well, because I'm trying to save myself, because I don't want to be disappointed. Whereas the idea of being so overconfident in something and then having to be disappointed, like that would be earth shattering. So I'd rather just be like, guys, that wasn't great, was it? That wasn't great. But yeah, definitely lots of times I've left the edit being like, I don't think we got that. Actually with Sabrina's, but that wasn't because of anything to do with Sabrina, it was because of me. After Sabrina's episode, I really just didn't feel like I did a good job.
And I love that episode.
Yeah,
by the way.
it's like, it's such a good episode.
It's insane.
But I left thinking, no, I wasn't sharp enough. I wasn't quick enough. And she was fantastic, and I really let the side down there. And then got into the edit and thought, actually, you know what? This is actually pretty good. But do you ever feel like that when you're leaving?
Every time. Like every time. And it's funny because like, I think, and I genuinely believe this, it's because we care.
Yeah.
We care so much.
Yeah, you just want to do a good job.
Right. And but our definition of not good is somebody's great. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's a really good way of thinking. Yeah.
It's interesting to me because like I remember seeing that Sabrina episode, and it's insane to me that you would think that you would think you didn't have it.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
But do you what happens to me a lot is I leave the interview and I think, God damn it, I forgot a question. Is there a question that you
Yes.
really sticks out in your mind that you forgot to ask?
2 days ago, so I had Ryan Gosling on the podcast.
You did?
Yeah, and for Project Hail Mary.
I'm so jealous. Apparently that film is incredible.
It's an absolute.
My friend got to see a screener of it and said it was unbelievably good. I would love to interview Ryan Gosling.
Can't stop thinking about it.
Okay, so sorry, what did you forget to ask him?
Okay, so what? It's funny. My prep process.
And I'll steal the question.
Kind of. Please steal it. If you see him, steal it. So in Project Hail Mary, he plays a middle school teacher. 20 years ago, he was nominated for an Oscar for Half Nelson, and he played a teacher in that film as well. So I was having him on the podcast. We were vibing, talking, filmmaking, whatever. And it was the one question I was emotionally hoping to get to, which was, do you remember middle school teachers of yours that are still important to you, that you still think about today, and what impact they had on you? It's not like a super unique
but it's
question.
something that you wanted.
It was emotional.
You didn't get the chance to ask.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, and so I walked out. And I'm like, sometimes I want to go back in and be like, can I re-ask it? But I don't know, I find that things happen for a reason. My wife is always like, listen to the universe, let things happen as they do. And she's like, just move on from it. I can't. I just replay it in my mind about how I did it wrong.
I'm sorry that happens to you. I feel like you need to get out of that negative thought process. I don't. I feel like I don't think about it.
You don't?
No.
You don't replay it?
I don't replay stuff. My anxieties come from beforehand. So the beforehand, I'm like overthinking everything. It's going to go wrong. All the playing out the scenarios of how it could go wrong and all these things. But I never am someone who looks back at stuff and overthinks the things that have happened. I'm never someone also who like replays conversations that I had like on a night out or something and think, I said the wrong thing. Luckily, I don't do that. But I definitely have anxiety, but it doesn't come after the fact.
Yeah, I also think anxiety comes out in many different forms.
No one's thinking about it as much as you. That's what you always have to tell yourself. Like, nobody is thinking about it. And everyone's just thinking about themselves.
I mean, it's an interesting thing, and I kind of want to dive into this as well because I want to use Chicken Shop as a launching pad into the red carpet interviews you're going to be doing for the Academy. You've done it for 2 years now. What is the difference between a prep for an episode versus the prep for a carpet, in the sense of like, obviously an episode you have one person or multiple people, it could be Ryan and Hugh, but it's pretty consolidated into that one specific individual, and then a carpet you have multiple people, but is there a consistency in the prep at all between the two?
I feel like, just with red carpet, it's just I'm prepping for more people.
Yeah.
So I can't go as in depth, but I would say it's pretty similar in terms of like the type of the way that I would research. So I would be watching the interviews they've done before. I'd be reading celebrity profiles on that person. I would be going on their Instagram, seeing what they've been up to recently, all that kind of stuff. Like, I get the research process is the same, but with the red carpet, I'm prepping maybe like 10 questions for someone. And then with Chicken Shop Date, I'll have like 4 pages of questions. Wow. And with Chicken Shop Date as well, because it's a date, a lot of the questions are around the dating aspect. So, like what's your type? Like those types of things. Like, are you a romantic person? Like those questions that I ask, I always ask for every episode. They don't always make the cut, but the theme is there. Whereas with a red carpet, we're not on a date, so we're like losing that, which I also like as well. It's fun to be able to be a bit more myself actually on the red carpets. I think red carpets, I'm more myself. So yeah, I would just say with the Chicken Shop Date, the main point of difference is like amping up the dating theme.
So what's fascinating about what you just said, so I started off in press junkets, so I would do like 4-minute slots with actors and filmmakers, and that's all you would get. So it's kind of similar to red carpet, where it's like shorter form, and then I start this show, like you start Chicken Shop, where you have a longer form to do it. What's interesting about that is I would imagine, and this is just me, I'm sure it's happened for you as well, you find a rhythm in the interview maybe sometimes midway through. Like I'll start feeling comfortable with a guest like midway through, like 30 minutes in sometimes, and then the interview itself, and then like overall it works because it's like you're finding the rhythm, you get in tune, and then the rest of it's in tune. On a carpet, you don't have that ability. So is there a rhythm difference between the two?
Well, it's funny you say that because with my process, I actually find that when I'm filming a longer interview, the middle is where is the worst.
Really?
Yes.
See,
for me, I start off strong. Okay, I start off strong, and I've got like I'm there. I'm like raring to go, and then the middle is just like the middle. I'm like watching the edit back, and I'm like the middle is really dragging on here.
So you're vibing at the beginning.
I'm vibing at the beginning because it's exciting. Yes, and I've like prepped my questions, and it's the opening act. But you see, I often feel, and then at the end, I'm back again. We're back and we're closing. But I think that it's because I don't really see Chicken Shop Date as necessarily an interview. And I mean, it is. But I've said this before, but I see it as a performance.
Yeah.
So in the same way that maybe sometimes like you're watching a movie, the middle's like, what's going on with the middle? We kind of lost it here. But you pick it back up at the end. So I feel like that's how when I'm in the edit, I really notice that with my interviews. But the red carpet, it's just high frequency the whole time,
Yeah.
right? I don't think there's no time for it to lull, because as soon as it just you don't have time for it.
Right. Do you prefer the fast-paced nature of that? Like, do you find yourself like
No,
it's like
I don't not. I like both of them. I'm really lucky that I get to do both. But I'm terrified. I'm like not terrified, but doing an interview like this, like, and then publishing it, and it being like an hour long.
This makes you nervous.
As in, I wouldn't do that. Like, that's not my style.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Because I just love being able to edit it down.
Yeah.
And I know you still edit it down.
Yeah.
But I just long form interviews for me and my style. I don't know what it is. I think it again goes back to the idea of it, me not wanting it to be an interview per se. I want it to be its own thing, where it's more of like a comedy sketch or something, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm super interested in like pursuing directing, like in the future, because I love being able to shape something and mold it and craft it in the way that I do with Chicken Shop Day, and also like the red carpet interviews. With the red carpet interviews, my favorite thing that we do, which I feel like we kind of created, well, I'm sure people did this before, but I think we created our own style with it, is when we do the compilations.
Yes.
Yeah, like that's what I love. And again, it comes back to the idea of we're editing something, we're moving it around, we're shaping it, we're creating a storyline. Like that's the stuff that I'm really into. So that's kind of how I know that that's more what I want to do in the future is creating these narratives.
So when you're on the carpet and you're having these multiple interviews and the narrative starts speaking to you?
Well, it happens more in the edit. And I work with some great editors on the compilations, because obviously I do all of my interviews and then we get all of the footage, and then my editors will piece something together based on, okay, I've asked the same question to numerous people, let's splice all their answers together. And we create this narrative in the edit. I think the first Oscars edit that we did that's on YouTube, that's like one of my favorite ones, because I think we did such a good job at and my editor Nick did such a good job at creating a bit of a storyline. But with Chicken Shop Date, you know, it is a story. It's a date, and a date is always has its own narrative.
Yeah.
Are we going to get on? Are we not? You know, are we going to have a second date? And I'm moving things around in the edit the whole time. You know, just something that I've started with an opener might necessarily be an opener. It might be a closer.
We are living in an age where media is changing so much all the time. Our attention spans are different. You know, there's short form content on TikTok. Like you do these brilliant dance videos. Like there's just, it's a great little way to kind of just give people insight into your personality. And
I need to do some more of those. Actually.
I love those. That's some of my favorite videos you do. I'm like,
my dancing videos.
They're great.
15-second dance.
They make me happy. Like I'm scrolling through and I'm seeing all this negative stuff in the news, and then I see you like
wiggling out
to like it's so great. It's so great. But talk about short form content and the media landscape that we're in, because I mean, you are speaking to an audience who probably, you know, there is a shorter form want for clips and compilations like you're talking about. That is where we kind of are in the media landscape. Like I can't post an hour interview and expect that everyone's going to listen to it. More people will actually go on and watch the clips on social. Like my Macaulay Culkin episode did like 15 million views on social. But then 180,000 on YouTube. And so that difference is something that's interesting to me about whether people are going to go to the long form or do they watch your show in clips.
I definitely think there's a trend within the last few years for long form, and people are, you know, listening to podcasts while they're in the car, while they're doing their thing, this whole second screen thing, you know. There's obviously such a big appetite for long form, which I was like surprised by, because, you know, I've come up in an era of short form, and, you know, for the idea that it goes reverts back to long form in this way is really interesting. But I would love to say that I have this, I know so much about short form and long form and the internet and all these things, but truthfully, I've just been doing stuff that I like, and that I think is good, rather than trying to do what's on trend or what is the done thing, or trying to predict what's going to be the next big thing. I've just always gravitated towards editing something down to 8 minutes, or like below 10 minutes.
What feels right?
Yeah,
you're listening to it.
I'm just listening to it, and it feels right. Like obviously, you know, with the Andrew Garfield episode, that was my longest one I've done. I think it's like 11 minutes. Like the longest one I've done, 11 minutes. And it just felt like the rhythm again, like I was able to keep more in. But, you know, I've had episodes like Lando Norris or like 6 minutes, or, you know, it just depends what you're feeling and feels that you've got enough footage for.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm going with.
But clips are interesting. So I'm learning a lot about this landscape now we're in, obviously, and like, I'm learning that some people do watch my show just in clips. And I would imagine like when you post like clips from any interview that you do, you know, there's that question of, are they going to click through? Are they going to go to watch the full version? Or are they just watching, scrolling? And so like, how important is the clip editing to you in terms of like, are you doing it in a way to make sure they go to the full thing, or are you treating the clip as its own little short form piece?
Well, I think that with Chicken Shop Date, we were kind of ahead of the curve in this way, and I think that's partly just down to the fact that our videos have always been in clip form anyway, in sense of like with the B-roll, and loads of people love the B-roll in Chicken Shop Date, you know, when we cut to the fryers, we cut to the boss man like doing the stare down the lens, and that's just like how we've always edited the show and had these clips that then we cut to the B-roll, and so it's been very easy to post the show on social because I've already got all of these clips, right? So, and I think that I have an amazing social media team, Ashley, who runs my socials output. You know, we've always created this really structured rollout. You know, we have a marketing plan for each episode.
Oh, so you literally like orchestrate what the clip plan, when they go up.
Totally. You have to, like, we have this whole plan, and I started it like back in the day on my own, like figuring out, okay, how am I going to post all this on social? And then obviously social has changed so much, and you know, there's all these new updates. You know, TikTok wasn't invented when I first started. It wasn't invented when I started Chicken Shop Date.
I met you on TikTok.
Yeah. and like, thank you TikTok for like growing my audience loads and sharing all these clips. But yeah, so Ashley and I build out this social plan where you know, Ashley will watch the episode after I've sent it to her, and she'll figure out, okay, which clip are we going to lead with. We obviously post on my page, but we also post on Chicken Shop Date. It has its own whole thing, and the rollout's all on Chicken Shop across all socials. And then we do additional content and all this stuff, and we do TikToks to promote the show. We do this across the table video that does really well for us, where we announce an announcement video.
So smart.
So all these things, like, they really help, and you have to think about these things. And I love the marketing I love the whole marketing stuff. Yeah. Like, that to me, I think is something where I thrive in too.
I think that's underrated, by the way.
Across everything.
Like the marketing in general. Like Ryan Reynolds talks about this, like telling stories through marketing. And I think that's what you're doing.
Well, it's very of the moment now. And like, my friends have this magazine called Polyester Zine, and they have a podcast about pop culture, and they do an amazing episode about marketing, and how marketing has taken over to the point that marketing is now considered the art itself.
Yes.
And whether that's a good thing or not, you know, you could argue both ways, because like, you could say, yes, it's incredible that like marketing is having this moment in a way that it's super creative, and you're being able to tell stories just through the marketing. But then, does the marketing outshine the art itself? And is that a good thing?
Wow.
You know, are you actually more excited by the campaign around the movie than the movie itself? And is that good, or is that bad? I don't know.
I mean, I guess the question is that, does it get the person to watch the full version of anything? But like the reveal one, the cross the table thing, like that's such a smart way to like build,
get people excited.
100%.
And even the fact that we announce on a Wednesday and it doesn't come out until the Friday, so you have like 2 days of build up. And it's funny because you think about movies, right? And the trailers come out, like, some of the trailers can come out like a year before, right? And the way that movies are marketed is so fascinating, because they have so much money. I think I read, I don't know if this is true or not, but like the marketing budget for Wuthering Heights was the same as the budget for the production of it. Yeah. Okay, and like, that's probably the case across the board for like lots of big movies, and that's crazy.
It's insane,
isn't it? Well, it tells you how important marketing is, if the budget for the marketing is the same as the production budget.
Right. Speaking of movies, I know that you just announced that you're working on a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
I just released an episode with Kate Hudson. And Kate Hudson, at the end of the episode, gives a masterclass in the brilliance of the art of the romantic comedy.
I need to watch that.
It's a really beautiful art form that I don't know that people give full credit to. Mm-hmm. Like, a romantic comedy is not an easy movie to make. We look at certain films like dramas, those are the Oscar films, and comedy is not easy, but people think it's easier because it's a little more light in terms of that. But like, talk about your approach to romantic comedy, and obviously the movie that you're going to be making. This is essentially you're playing a celebrity interviewer in the film.
I'm playing myself, yeah.
Are you playing Amelia in the film?
Yeah, I'm playing Amelia, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's
cool.
going to be a different version of me. It's going to be like, the backstory is going to be a bit different. We're going to like, you know, raise the stakes, heighten the drama a bit because it's a movie. But I'm going to be playing a version of myself, yeah.
And you're interviewing like celebrities in the movie, and like I'm assuming there's going to be like, is it like a Notting Hill situation where you're going to?
It's like I guess the inverse of Notting Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horse and Hound. And
Yeah,
like,
Horse and Hound. Yeah. No, I mean like, you know, Notting Hill's a big reference. Bridget Jones, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, even A Star Is Born. Yeah, A Star Is Born is one of my favorite films, but that's obviously more of like the romance. It's not rom-com.
You saw Gaga the other night. I saw.
Oh my God!
One of the
Pause
best-
up
Oh,
for Gaga.
One of the best live artists I've
Incredible.
ever
I mean,
seen.
best artist in general. To be honest, like
Brilliant.
she's just phenomenal. Like,
Has she done your show?
No.
We
So
gotta make
Gaga,
this.
if you're watching,
All right.
I'd love for you to come on Chicken Shop Day.
I'm going to make
obviously.
that my goal for this year to get her on your show.
Oh my God, she'd be amazing on your show too because obviously she's such a brilliant actor.
She
would be so fascinating for you to do like an in-depth interview with her.
Have you met her?
No, never. Have you
I
interviewed
interviewed her for Stars
Oh.
Born.
Oh, you have
and
already? Okay, great.
Gucci. One of the cool things I remember talking to her about was being credited as Gaga versus Stephanie.
Yep.
Her whole career has been remarkable. She's an amazing actor.
There are some people I just think who just are one of a kind, who are just so incredibly talented. Like every single inch of them, like from their fingertip to their like little toe, is like just unbelievably talented, and they work so hard and so passionate. And I think she's just someone who is just a phenomenal musician, actress, businesswoman, like everything. And I've also heard from people that work with her that she's like the nicest person.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
So, but back to the film.
But the rom-com.
So Orion
with
Pictures, right?
Orion, yeah, and Amazon MGM, and Sarah Haywood is writing the script.
Amazing.
Incredible writer. Yeah, she worked on Girls and Nobody Wants This. And I'm just thrilled to be able to get the opportunity to work with her. And Gloria Sanchez are producing Will Ferrell's production company. They did Booksmart, which is one of my favorite comedies of recent. I met Olivia recently. I was so starstruck.
Did you?
I can't wait to see the invite.
Do you get starstruck still?
Yeah, like from like certain women, yeah.
Like who? Besides Gaga walking in here right now.
Gaga, I would be so starstruck. Rihanna, I don't know what to do. I was so starstruck when I met Cher. But yeah, it's mainly women, to be honest, because women are more intimidating than men. And
by the way, she's talking about being starstruck when she was on Seth Meyers recently you were being interviewed on Seth Meyers. I mean, that you are a star in your own right.
Thank you.
Incredible.
I mean, we try.
Do people get starstruck when they meet you? I would imagine.
I feel like my audience is amazing, really sweet. Everyone who comes up to me is so nice, so lovely. I wouldn't say that they're like that intense. I think some people have fans that are very intense, and I actually don't have that. I think maybe it's because I don't really divulge that much of my personal life, so maybe people feel like there's a bit of a distance between me and them in a way that's like on purpose. But everyone's really sweet. I've had the occasional thing where like someone's not been able to take the photo because their hand's been shaking, so I have taken the phone from them obviously and been like, don't worry, I will take the photo. But yeah, I don't have any crying or anything like that. But yeah, the rom-com, back to your point about rom-coms. By the way, I interviewed Kate Hudson recently at the luncheon, and she was amazing, and we spoke about horror films because
sweet.
I did say to her, I said, everyone probably asks you about rom-coms, right? And she was like, yeah, they do. I said, let's talk about horrors. Like, what's your view on horrors? And she hates them. So that was good. But yeah, with the rom-com, I actually think the rom-com is held in such high regard as it should be, because people have such formative, emotional connections to their favorite rom-coms, right? Growing up, whatever that was. So whenever someone announces that they're making a rom-com, it really, people put it on a pedestal, put it on such a high standard that it can be critiqued insanely, like nowadays, you know, because people have these such fond memories of them. And that's because they are able to connect in this way and cut through in this way that honestly, like, stands the test of time, which is why I've always wanted to make one myself, because of what the meaning of them were to me, to be able to connect to someone in a way. Like I do that with my show. I've always seen my show as a rom-com, and I'm so lucky that it's resonated with audiences and people love it. But there is just nothing like the impact of a movie. Like there's just nothing like that. And you obviously know this more than anyone about how movies are so special. So yeah, it's always been my dream to make my very own rom-com. And to me, I see it as Chicken Shop Date. I've been doing my rom-com on YouTube and loving it. And I just want to be able to supersize what I do already and be able to dive into the narrative even more, and also kind of explore this character and this world that maybe people think, this life that people think that maybe I lead, where I'm like having these dalliances with the people that I interview, and let's fulfill the fantasy.
But you do become friends with some of the people you do interview.
Yeah, totally. Like some of the guys
Charlie
I interviewed.
XCX.
Charlie, I'm good friends with, and like a few other people. But I also think that, you know, when you're interviewing someone, it's not your job to become friends with them, right? You know, there has to be these boundaries there, and so I don't go into something with the intention that I'm going to become friends with someone. I don't think that's the way to approach your work. But you know, if someone wants to hit me up and say, would you like to go for coffee? Like, I will do that. But I'm never going to be the one who reached out to them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm
what
in the
about
same
you?
boat as you. I mean, I remember when I first started doing this, I'm like, you know, I'm not going there to be someone's friend. I'm going there to teach people about their art and their craft. It just sometimes happens where you connect with someone on a level and you can become friends. But I'm the same way.
Which is so nice as well.
It's the best.
Because also, one of the greatest privileges of being in this industry is you get to actually meet people that you are a fan of, right? And that, like, if you're really into movies or pop culture or in general, whatever that is, like to meet someone who's created your favorite song or like who's written the score for your favorite movie, like, wow, there's nothing like that.
It's special.
When have you been the most starstruck?
For me, it's directors. So Christopher Nolan, Spielberg, Scorsese.
Do you find that, like, when you're interviewing people, you're often like remembering nuggets of information from one interview that you actually use on a completely different interview?
Yeah, I did that the other night with Chalamet, because when Timothy and I sat down for Little Women, it was him and Greta Gerwig.
I love that movie.
Love that movie too. And there's a theme in that film about going from childhood to adulthood and like your childhood being taken away.
Yeah.
And I remember I had asked Chalamet at that press junket, you know, do you remember the moment in your own life when you felt your childhood slip away and you became an adult? And he said this answer to me that was so profound that I think about almost every day, which is like, it's the moment you realize your parents also don't have everything figured out. You know, because you grow up thinking your parents are superheroes and they have every answer. And then you go, no.
They're just figuring it out too.
And so Marty Supreme, have you seen Marty Supreme?
Yeah.
The last shot of Marty Supreme is him crying as he's meeting his baby. That's literally, Josh Safdie has talked about this. He's going from a boy to a man. He's becoming an adult. He's realizing his adult responsibilities. He's now claiming that it is his kid.
It's funny because I wonder what in that movie, do you actually think he is going to claim his adulthood?
And I'll tell you why. If you watch the film like multiple times, you'll notice that the character says "I love you" to only a very few select people. So he'll be in the middle of an argument with his uncle, and then he'll end the argument by saying "I love you." He'll be in the middle of an argument with Tyler, the Creator, Wally, and then he'll end it with "I love you." And he never tells Rachel, Odessa's character, that he loves her until the end of the film. So once he finishes that match in Tokyo, he's completely changed. Because if you see him walk through the corridor in the hospital, the guy says, "You can't go through there." And he goes, "No, I'm the father." He's been saying the whole movie he's not. I think his arc is happening slowly, and then the moment he sees the baby, it's like that's it. Table tennis, ping pong is not his thing anymore.
I like this point of view. This is the power in watching a movie numerous times, actually.
Yeah.
And I think when I watched Marty Supreme, I did think I need to watch this again because I'm missing so much
The
here.
music, the score.
The music was amazing.
Yeah.
Everything about it was fantastic. Timothy's performance was incredible. And I just think it's such a skill to be able to. There's so many crazy things that happen in that movie, right?
Yeah.
Just the most mad things, but everything seems so believable.
Right.
And that's such a skill to pull off, to have these crazy things happen, and you think, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense, because you're really got the buy-in of the audience the whole time.
Like him falling through the floor in the bathtub. it's such a ridiculous
Yeah.
scene. And I was telling him the other night, because like dogs and animals to me are very interesting, revealing aspects of what they can do for characters on screen. And that dog Moses becomes a star of the film.
Totally.
But every time Moses was in danger, I'm more worried about the dog than I am any person in that scene.
Yeah.
Except for like, Odessa, because Odessa's character's pregnant. So it's like children and dogs. And those are the things that like I think are interesting, revealing factors.
Yeah,
about
who everyone says you should never work with, and actually they actually provide so much light to a story.
It's incredible. I know we have to get out of here soon. This has gone by faster than I could ever
Time flies
imagine.
when you're having fun.
Talk about your company and talk about how you're giving back now.
Chicken Shop Date started in a youth club, and it was such an amazing experience being able to connect with other young people and make this magazine, and that's where I started. Chicken Shop Date was a written column first, and I've always wanted to create something like that myself for other young people because it helped me so much. It's
free.
It's free. So last year we did our first summer school, and it's for young people from underrepresented backgrounds, which is really important to me too, like to be able to level the playing field, do my part to do that. And we gave like a week of workshops, free workshops for young people who want to get into the creative industries but might not have the means to. And I also wanted them to come away from the week with a portfolio piece, something like a tangible thing that they could show to a future employer or to a work experience or whatever that was, like, I made this. Because that, again, helped me so much, having an actual, written column in this magazine or like a video on YouTube. And I think so many people everyone has, if you're a creative person, you have bountiful ideas, right? You've got so many ideas all the time. The hard part is like putting the wheels in place to actually make it happen, having the confidence or actually, the equipment or someone pushing you to do the thing. So that's what I want this Dims Inc. Academy to be. I want it to be this place where, cool, you've got this idea, we're gonna make it happen this week. It's gonna happen and you're gonna feel so good that you've actually done it. So we just got funding for the next iteration of it with Adobe, which is so exciting because everyone is going to be using Adobe products anyway, and everyone will get free Adobe products to use. So yeah, we're going to be doing a new version of it in London this year, and it's going to be 4 weeks. We've extended it so people can really become even better friends and create this sense of community, because that's what it's all about. It's like creating a network for people so they can feel more supported, and yeah, giving them the tools and the advice that they need. And that's what I want my legacy to be, I want that's what because I'm not going to be doing what I'm doing now forever, but if I can actually have the forever part be the next generation. And it's not just like a pipeline for content creators, it's more than that. It's if you want to be on-screen talent, great, but we're going to be giving people the advice and tools they need to be behind the camera, because there's so many jobs behind the camera, and that's actually a lot more realistic, and also so fun. I mean, I want to get behind the camera.
You want to direct?
I want to start. I want to go behind the camera.
So
yeah.
When you talk to directors, like, are you kind of not fishing for learning about how? Because I mean, like, you are a director in the sense of that you
Chicken Shop Date.
Exactly.
And
so
I've directed other short form things. I actually did direct a short film.
You do Passenger Princess as well? Do you direct that as well?
Yeah. Oh no, I don't direct it.
Okay.
But I'm like the creative behind
Sure.
the idea, and I just directed my first music video.
What? Wait, which one?
Yeah, for an artist called Maisie Peters, and that was amazing. Yeah, I loved it. It was such a fun experience, and I was like, this is what I want to be doing.
I mean, you're amazing. What you said in this entire conversation that I'm beyond happy about is what you said about your legacy and giving back. Like, that's absolutely incredible, because I mean, we live in a world, I mean, with social media where we're all posting about ourselves constantly. But the idea that you actually have the youth in your mind and like giving back, and then kind of how you got your start, it's just remarkable to see. Like, you are the example that people need to be looking at.
I mean that.
I'm not just saying that. Like that's the headspace people should be in.
Well, I appreciate that. I also just think that's what everyone should be doing in a way. But it's actually very difficult to. It's not very difficult, but it's like you got to have a vision of what you want it to be, because you have to be thoughtful with it, right? You want to create something meaningful that like has lasting impact. So I'm still in the very early stages of that, but I'm trying to build something that will last. So starting off small and growing it, and it being more about having a meaningful impact in a small group of people rather than having to reach like thousands of people. I think if I can do that and like help someone's career, like a handful of people, like that will be really great.
Before you go, is there a person that you've met in this program so far that like sticks out of you in your mind of like you saw them grow? I mean, I'm sure all the kids grow in that particular instance, but is there one that comes to mind that meant a lot to you?
Well, there's so many people, and we actually ended up working with some of the young people on my 10-year of Chicken Shop Day exhibition.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so I think that everyone that we worked with 20 young people on the program, and they all were fantastic in their different ways, and you could really see how they all had their own individual interests, quirks, and personalities. And and I'm looking forward to like carrying on, seeing them as like alumni of the program.
Probably also reminds you of you at that age.
That's literally why I'm doing it.
You know what I mean? Like you see that kid and you
those
go, that's
memories,
me.
those memories I have of starting the show and the other young people that I met, like that to me, it was so significant. And I didn't even need the program in the way that a lot of the other young people did at the time. So yeah. Anyway, that's that.
No, I love that. Well, Amelia, thank you so much for being here. I know you have to run, but this has been a pleasure.
Thank you. I'm excited. I'm excited to see you and congratulations on everything. I'm so happy because when we first met in London, you were telling me about the idea for this podcast. You wanted to do things on your own terms. Yeah. You obviously had such an amazing career previously and learned so much, but I'm really proud of you for going on your own and doing that, and it's worked so well, obviously.
Well, you're a big inspiration to me because you did it on your own, so it's really cool to see it.
Yeah.
Congratulations on everything, and people can find you on social media. Definitely look out for her red carpet interviews at the Oscars this year.
I'll be at the Oscars red carpet. See you there.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Amelia.